Ever since the trailer for Venom: The Last Dance was released, we've been discussing the character Knull a lot, mentioning that Knull is an Avengers-level villain and deserves a better story from Sony. However, I haven't yet shared the story that will convince you that he truly is an Avengers-level villain. Today, that's exactly what we're going to do. Knull first appeared in Venom Volume 4, Issue 3. This character was created by Donny Cates and Ryan Stegman. He was first mentioned in comics as recently as 2018, which was also the same year that Tom Hardy's Venom live-action movie came out. Since then, this elder god is about to make his appearance in Venom: The Last Dance. But I want to focus on how this god of symbiotes is capable of being an Avengers-level villain. Let's dive into the King in Black storyline. While fighting a symbiote dragon named Grendel, Eddie learned about Knull. Eddie sensed Knull and transformed into Venom, contacting the Avengers to inform them that Knull has arrived. Eddie's son, Dylan, also tells him that he can sense Knull as well. Meanwhile, in Avengers Mountain, Captain America, Iron Man, She-Hulk, and Captain Marvel scan to figure out how Knull will arrive. Iron Man uses Kree-Skrull worship vessels like a minefield. As thousands of symbiote dragons begin to arrive, Iron Man destroys the ships, killing half the symbiote dragons, but the remaining ones still descend upon Earth. Avengers and the Fantastic Four arrive to fight the remaining dragons. Eddie hides his son Dylan in a bunker. Captain America tells Venom that Plan A didn't work, and now it's time for Plan B. Avengers and Fantastic Four, along with Spider-Man, Doctor Strange, Daredevil, Iron Fist, and Luke Cage, face the symbiote dragons, using lightning to weaken them. However, Thor is out of reach. Professor X also sends help from his X-Men team, dispatching Magneto, Storm, Cyclops, Jean Grey, and Cable to the fight at Washington Square Park. Storm immediately starts attacking the symbiote dragons with her lightning. Meanwhile, Eddie goes to Dark Carnage's location and realizes that Knull is planning to take control of his Venom symbiote. On the other side, Doctor Strange is calling out to everyone, but a symbiote dragon gets to him. Eddie connects himself to Carnage's chair, but warns everyone that Knull has arrived, with Celestials covered in symbiotes. Knull emerges from one of the Celestials and announces that he's looking for a person named Brock. Captain America signals for their heavy hitter, Sentry, who immediately grabs Knull and flies him into Earth's orbit, intending to do the same thing to Knull that he did to Carnage. However, Knull reverses the attack on Sentry and absorbs the void inside him, declaring that he is darkness itself. Venom, through the hive mind, sees all of this happening in front of Captain America. Iron Man quickly orders everyone to evacuate, but Captain America insists they fight to give the others more time. Knull starts consuming the superheroes and covers Earth with a symbiote dome, cutting it off from the sun. Storm, still flying and battling the symbiotes, is also taken by Knull. Eddie contacts Iron Man and tells him he's going to face Knull to buy time for the others to figure out how to defeat him. Venom confronts Knull and says that the one he's looking for is right in front of him. Knull reveals that he's actually searching for Dylan Brock, Eddie's son. Eddie begs Knull to leave his son and take him instead. Knull tears Eddie's symbiote from him and says he'll take his son as well, and later his body too. After saying this, Knull throws Eddie's symbiote body down, and Eddie crashes into a car, leaving him gravely injured. Spider-Man arrives to help Eddie, but they are soon attacked by the symbiote-controlled heroes. Just then, Human Torch arrives and tells Spider-Man to take Eddie to the Fantastic Four's lab. Spider-Man does so, while Human Torch stays behind to deal with the symbiote-controlled heroes. At the Fantastic Four lab, Spider-Man told Jane Foster's Valkyrie that Eddie's condition was critical, and they needed to do something. Valkyrie explained that Eddie's condition was so bad that death was looming over him. Seeing Eddie's state, Spider-Man went to fetch Dylan. When they returned to the lab, they saw Blade arguing with Professor X and Magneto, while Black Panther was discussing with Susan Reed and Valkyrie about using Infinity Gems or the Cosmic Cube. Namor arrived, asking what the plan was. Iron Man suggested they needed a symbiote dragon to bring Venom back. Namor headed to Mariana Trench to awaken the ancient Atlantean warrior Black Tide. Blade went to fetch Dracula, while Mayor Fisk hired villains to defend New York. Iron Man set out to capture a symbiote dragon using his extremis armor and managed to bring it to the Fantastic Four lab. However, instead of saving Eddie, the symbiote began killing him. Dylan used his powers to completely repel the symbiote, which prompted Reed Richards to realize that Dylan was their secret weapon. However, they then heard a long beep. Eddie had died. Invisible Woman and Blade were struggling to contain the symbiotes. Mr. Fantastic, Spider-Man, and Valkyrie explained to Dylan that with his help, they could defeat the symbiotes. The three of them joined Invisible Woman, and Dylan reached Captain America, freeing him from the symbiotes. At that moment, Thor arrived. Thor and Dylan freed some of the superheroes, but then Knull confronted Thor. Just as Thor gained the upper hand, Knull activated one of his Celestials, distracting Thor. Knull then stabbed Thor in the back with a symbiote sword. Iron Man arrived with Dylan, who had freed the symbiote dragon. Using his extremis-infected symbiote, Iron Man took control of one of the Celestials. But then Knull captured Dylan. Thor, realizing the gravity of the situation, sent his ravens, Hug-In and Mun-In, to summon someone. That's when we saw Silver Surfer. Knull needed to control Dylan because he possessed the symbiote codex. But Dylan attacked Knull, freeing Cyclops, Invisible Woman, Black Cat, Human Torch, and Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange transformed into his stronger form, and all the heroes united to fight the symbiotes. Namor, Thor, and Storm dealt significant damage. Jean Grey froze Knull with her psychic powers and discovered that the God of Light, also known as the Enigma Force, could defeat Knull. However, she couldn't handle the information and fainted. Silver Surfer brought the Enigma Force, and it bonded with Eddie Brock's body in the Fantastic Four lab, transforming him into the new Captain Universe. Silver Surfer confronted Knull, transforming his board into a sword. Knull summoned his armor, and the battle was about to begin when the Avengers arrived to assist the Surfer. Venom, now in his Captain Universe form, told the others to save the civilians while he dealt with Knull. Knull declared that no God of Light could stop him, but Venom did something no one expected. He summoned Thor's Mjolnir and Silver Surfer's board, combining them into a battle axe. The remaining superheroes evacuated the civilians as Venom began destroying the symbiote dragons with his battle axe. Venom noticed that Knull was afraid of him. Knull sent the symbiote-controlled Celestial toward Venom, but Venom destroyed it as well. Venom then dragged Knull to the place where Knull had separated Eddie from Venom and stripped Knull of his armor, leaving him to fall. Knull warned Venom that darkness had no end, to which Venom replied, "Neither do we." Then, using the power of the sun and the Uni-Power, Venom vaporized Knull. As Eddie heard a voice, it was the Enigma Force, informing him that the symbiote hive was now free from Knull's control and was celebrating its newfound freedom. Meanwhile, back on Earth, vampires began attacking Blade. But as soon as the symbiote barrier was lifted, sunlight returned to Earth, and the vampires started burning. With Knull's defeat, the symbiote dome surrounding Earth disintegrates, and the sun returns. The heroes are freed from Knull's control, and the symbiotes are dissolved. Peace is restored, but Eddie knows that his battle is not over yet. He is now the new King in Black, the ruler of the symbiotes, and must learn to control this immense power while also protecting the universe from future threats. Knull's story is far from over, and it's clear that he is one of the most powerful villains the Marvel Universe has ever seen. His defeat was only possible with the combined efforts of the Avengers, X-Men, Fantastic Four, and many other heroes. But most importantly, it was Eddie Brock who stood at the center of it all, proving once again that Venom is more than just a lethal protector. He is a hero capable of saving the entire universe. So if you like this video, don't forget to like and share it, and subscribe to our channel for more contents. To understand how powerful Sentry is, watch the video above, and to know the future of Henry Cavill's Wolverine, watch the one below. I'll be back with a new video soon.